Kristen Catt, who previously led HR at Astronomer, has been seen in public following the incident on the Kiss Cam at a Coldplay concert that led to her resignation.
There's a part of people that they're looking at these two individuals and obviously not wanting the damning part for the family. Because I do say, you know, my heart goes out to the children and the partners of these people who are having to watch this all play out. But the bigger thing people aren't talking about is how a CEO of a company should never be dating the head of HR.
However, after being let go from her role as head of HR, she appeared more focused on the state of her plants than on her marriage, as she was spotted at her $2.2 million home.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay?
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Can you feel the tension?
Oh, look at these two. All right.
What are we gonna do? My wife is here.
You said she's in row P. She won't even see us.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Some people have taken the opportunity to recreate that widely recognized moment. A person who claims to be a former employee at Astronomer IO has reportedly shared details about the situation involving Andy Byron and Kristen Catt. If you've heard about the Coldplay concert incident, then you know this story has been making waves online. The viral Kiss Cam clip, now known as Coldplay Gate, led to both managers being placed on leave. Not long after, Byron resigned and Catt followed by stepping down as well.
I could have never guessed that it would be such high-profile individuals in the video. I do feel sorry for their partners and spouses that they had to find out this way.
Do you think if they had not tried to hide, Coldplay would have moved on?
100%. I think if they acted natural, no one would have thought twice. What a cute couple. I mean, I'm sure people in their inner circle might have caught something, but I definitely wouldn't have posted that video.
He's married with teenage children. Kristen Catt has been divorced for 3 years. She was hired just 8 months ago. And now that 15 seconds of video is having a devastating impact on both of their lives.
At this point in the ongoing story, a person who says they used to work at Astronomer has come forward with what they describe as revealing and unexpected insider information. This individual, whose identity hasn't been confirmed, claims that the relationship between Byron and Kit wasn't something that caught employees off guard. It was, according to them, something that had been quietly recognized by many within the company long before the recent public attention. From what this person says, the connection between the two wasn't hidden very well and had become somewhat of an open secret within certain circles at Astronomer. Based on these claims, online discussions have started to grow, with people pointing out that some employees had already been whispering about how close Byron and Kit seemed for several months before the concert incident even happened. It wasn't just one interaction or one event, it was reportedly a pattern. Observers online say there were repeated moments where the two appeared more connected than would typically be expected between colleagues. Whether it was their body language in meetings, the way they communicated, or how often they were seen together, those little things started to build a picture that some staff found hard to ignore. All of this is fueling even more speculation about how long this alleged relationship may have been developing, and whether leadership turned a blind eye to something that others had already quietly started to notice.
Even Viscusi.
This requires, to me, not one, but 2 resignations.
Chief Executive Andy Byron has tendered his resignation to the board of directors and they have accepted. The board will begin a search for our next chief executive as co-founder and chief product officer Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO.
Grace Springer first posted the video being seen around the world.
And it was the reaction from Andy that kind of sealed the deal. He looked pretty guilty.
There's a growing number of rumors being shared online, suggesting that Byron and Catt were often spotted having extended private meetings behind closed doors, sometimes staying late into the evening after most people had already left the office. While there's no official confirmation about what was being discussed in those meetings, their frequency and timing reportedly made some employees uneasy. It wasn't just that they were talking, it was how often it happened, how late it would go, and how secluded it seemed from the rest of the team. team. For some workers, the optics of these repeated one-on-one sessions raised concerns, especially considering Kat's role within the organization. As the head of human resources, she's supposed to be one of the key figures ensuring that everyone in the company, regardless of their title, is upholding a high standard of professional behavior. When someone in that position appears to be unusually close to a company executive, it can understandably make people question whether the lines between personal and professional conduct are being respected. We want to be clear that we're not making accusations here, only reflecting on what's been shared across online forums and platforms where people are following this story closely. Still, it's stirred up a lot of conversation. If you've got your own thoughts on the matter, feel free to drop them in the comments. Alongside these rumors, another layer of concern has emerged, one that suggests the situation may be causing deeper issues within the company itself. One former employee has come forward, speaking anonymously, and claimed that this perception of favoritism between Byron and Kabat began to take a serious toll on the rest of the team. According to them, it wasn't just an awkward dynamic or isolated discomfort, it allegedly had a negative impact on overall morale throughout the company. They said that people started feeling disillusioned, like there was a double standard for certain individuals, and that the usual sense of fairness and shared purpose in the workplace began to erode. If employees don't feel like everyone is being treated equally, or if they start to believe some relationships come with special privileges, it's not surprising that motivation, trust, and teamwork could suffer as a result. These are the kinds of internal tensions that, if left unresolved, can lead to long-term challenges for any organization. Of course, without official statements or clear answers, we're left with speculation, but whether the details being shared are entirely accurate or not, the fact that so many people are discussing it says something about the importance of perception in workplace dynamics. Once questions about integrity and favoritism begin to circulate, they're hard to ignore, and even harder to fix.
Like, you went in public. It's not like you were inside your home having this affair and somebody was like outside from social media being like, what are they doing in here? Like, you were in publicly like kissing and hugging. You were at a public place where maybe you were going to be on camera. Like, that is just a risk. You might think that it's private because it's a dark concert, but often there are these cameras. There is social media everywhere. If you are somebody that is on X, on TikTok specifically, you should know, like, whether it's a good thing or not, everybody's filming all the time.
Here's Astronomer's leadership. This is Andy Byron. And right down here is the Chief People Officer. There you go. Kristen Cabot, Chief People Officer. Although the weird thing is that if you click on their LinkedIn's and poof, they're gone. Deleted their LinkedIn's. Too bad, you know? They'll be a scumbag. And if you are a scumbag, then, well, I guess you deserve this.
There have been several posts circulating on X where users claim that some team members had already started to feel sidelined or excluded, even before the recent spotlight on the situation. These feelings, according to some of the comments, weren't just about the public video or the rumors. It seems the tension may have been building for a while. One individual, who chose to remain anonymous, mentioned something they found troubling long before the infamous clip ever surfaced. They pointed to a series of unusually glowing public comments made by Kabed about Byron on LinkedIn. Specifically, Kabed described their conversations with Byron as inspiring and full of praise that felt to this person far too personal and out of place for a professional networking platform. While this might seem harmless to some, the tone and frequency of the compliments raised some eyebrows within the team. It made a few people question whether there was favoritism happening behind the scenes, or if certain boundaries between colleagues were being blurred. Now, in light of everything that has come to the surface, people are revisiting those earlier signs and wondering whether the professional relationship between Byron and Kabed had started affecting the overall atmosphere within the astronomer workplace long before it became a public issue. This is especially significant given Kabed's role in human resources, a department that's supposed to serve as a neutral party, ensuring that everyone, including high-level executives, is held to the same standards of conduct and accountability. When someone in HR appears to be too close to someone they're also meant to oversee or regulate, it naturally leads to concerns. Was fairness compromised? Did other employees feel like their voices or concerns wouldn't be taken seriously? These are the kinds of questions people are now asking as they try to make sense of how much this situation might have impacted the company culture from the inside out. The conversations online have expanded beyond just two individuals. They've sparked larger discussions about trust, integrity, and whether those in positions of power are always acting in the best interests of the people around them.
Society loves to be mad at cheaters. Like, remember Scandival, the Vanderpump Rules saga saga. It was like the biggest story of 2023. The president of the United States at the time weighed in on it because people love to be mad when people are caught cheating. We just relate to it. It's just something that like brings society together. And finally, I do think that it involves.
I think cheating is an abomination, okay? And this man has a wife, he has children, these kids are gonna have to watch and see this. They don't look, I would be devastated if I was his wife.
We've now learned that the technology company Astronomer has announced that its CEO, Andy Byron, seen here, as you saw, embracing a woman who is not his wife, has resigned from the company.
It's been said that the individual who originally leaked this entire story believes there were early indications of the relationship buried within internal company communications. Things like casual mentions, suggestive messages, or patterns in email exchanges that might not have raised red flags at the time, but in hindsight could seem more telling. According to this person, leadership may have either failed to notice these signs or chose to brush them off altogether, assuming they weren't serious enough to act on. But once the situation blew up and public pressure mounted, it seems those in charge were finally forced to take the situation more seriously and start making decisions they'd previously avoided. At the same time, the online conversation hasn't stopped evolving. A lot of people are speculating that company leadership might have had more knowledge about the situation than they publicly admitted. Some suggest this could explain the seemingly delayed response after the controversial video began circulating and gained major attention. The timeline of their actions raised eyebrows, and now people are questioning whether internal politics, contractual protections, or legal entanglements played a role in how things were handled. For example, it hasn't gone unnoticed that one of the individuals left the company much sooner than the other, and now people are wondering if special agreements or private negotiations were involved. Could it be that someone was protected behind the scenes? Or is this all just a case of assumptions filling in where clear information is missing? Do you think there's any truth to these theories, or is this just another example of speculation getting out of control in the absence of facts? Zooming out for a moment, this entire scenario has sparked much broader conversations about how power dynamics unfold in professional spaces. It's not just about one company or two individuals anymore. It's about the systems that allow these situations to happen. When the people involved include a high-ranking executive and someone from human resources, the very department meant to ensure fairness and safeguard employee well-being, the questions become even more serious. People are wondering how these relationships affect decision-making, accountability, and company culture as a whole. As the story spread across the internet, it evolved into something bigger. Endless memes, parody posts, fabricated statements, and even social media users pitching the idea for a dramatized TV series based on the whole thing. It's taken on a life of its own online, but beneath the comedy and viral noise, the story still brings up real issues about transparency, ethics, and what lines should or shouldn't be crossed when it comes to mixing personal and professional relationships. Whether or not the leaked claims are accurate, the impact of this narrative has already made its mark. It's gotten people talking and questioning. So now we turn it over to you. Do you think there's more beneath the surface? Something that hasn't been shared publicly yet? Or do you believe this is just another example of a short-lived corporate scandal, one that will blow over as the internet moves on to the next big story? That's our deep dive into the situation. If you found this discussion helpful or thought-provoking, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates. We'd love to hear your opinions. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you think about everything happening with Astronomer. If new details emerge, you can be sure we'll cover them here. Until then, stay curious, keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Whoever wrote the post was believed to have also attended the concert in Boston, and it sure seems that he or she works at the company. They knew Kristen Cabot's precise title in HR, and they also knew that both executives are married.
It doesn't take a scientist to figure out that they didn't want us to see whatever we saw.
Yeah. Man, he dropped out real quick and she turned.
Yeah, because he just realized how many millions of dollars he lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, it's like, if he didn't freak out, no one would have any idea that this had happened.
True. The moment they realize the camera is on them, it is like, oh my god, and the guy like ducks, the woman turns around. And I mean, guys, it took the internet maybe an hour to figure out who these people are and to discover that the man is the CEO of a huge data company and that the woman that he was canoodling with was his chief people officer. So that is like the person that is over HR.
Apparently, making matters even more complicated, someone who previously worked at the company brought up an incident that has gotten people talking even more. They recall recalled a company event, specifically a team getaway for the Astronomer division that took place last year, where Byron and Kabat appeared unusually close. According to this former employee, the two spent the entire night sticking by each other's side, sharing inside jokes, and looking like they were in their own little world. It was enough for a few team members to start raising eyebrows and wondering whether something more than just professional collaboration was going on between them. Since this came to light, a number of online discussions have popped up, speculating that this particular trip might have been a turning point, the moment when people within the company first began suspecting that the two leaders might be crossing some boundaries. It's hard to say what's fact and what's hearsay, but it seems like the internet has taken this story and run with it. Could there be some truth to all of this? Or are we just watching gossip spiral out of control? And what kind of damage is this causing for Astronomer? According to those who shared the leaked details, the company has been in damage control mode ever since the scandal emerged publicly. From what's being said online, there's a real sense that Astronomer is struggling to rebuild its image and reestablish trust, not just among its customers, but with its own staff as well. Some social media users have pointed to whispers that major personnel changes are happening behind the scenes. One person who used to work there even claimed that several senior engineers decided to leave, saying the workplace became tense and uncomfortable in the aftermath of everything that happened. Whether those departures were caused directly by Byron and Kabat's alleged behavior, or were just fallout from the chaotic situation surrounding the number Coldplay issue is still unclear, but the uncertainty is making people question how the company plans to bounce back from all of this. Is this a temporary setback that Astronomer can recover from with the right moves, or are we witnessing the beginning of a longer-term decline? It's a fair question to ask. Do controversies like this fade from public memory as quickly as they arise, or do they stick around and shape a company's reputation for years to come?
Anyway, here we go. So she brought her underling there to cover for them. The CEO's wife found out about it. She's already removed his last name from her LinkedIn and Facebook. Apparently, many people at the company knew that he was sleazy, previously worked for him. Moral of the story, don't go to a Coldplay concert.
Why do you think that couple was chosen?
If I was directing that show, I would have put them up in a heartbeat. The body language that they were showing and the shot there, it's a good looking couple. He's got his arms around her. I would have done it 10 times out of 10.
A CEO and HR professional. Like, the definition of her job is to be like, by the way, don't do workplace romance. Like, that's one of her